Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and let's talk about AMD drivers that they finally released. I did a video earlier about a while back about no updates from the 6000 series and before drivers from AMD. And I had some speculation in there of what I thought was going on, and finally we have it. We have a new release here, month of February is their 23.2.1 release. So 23 is the year, 2 is the month, and the dot 1 is the iterations in that month. And it looks like a combined driver again, and that's what AMD kind of does. It seems like they have one package for all their drivers, which I like. I think that's the best approach. I do software development, so I have some preferences of what I like to do, and other people may have different preferences, but these are mine. And you have one, usually you can, you're gonna, if you have an improvement, hopefully that goes to everything else, all the other devices, depending upon what the improvement is. But let's take a look at this because I don't do this for mini drivers, but I think it's kind of interesting on something that you haven't released off for 2 weeks. You're now getting all these releases, which I think is, hey, let's take a look at see what they're kind of improving here when they were only focusing on the 7900 series GPUs here. You get your support for your graphics for a few games here. Whoa. Forspoken, Dead Space, some compiler stuff, additional Vulkan extensions. Here's some streaming capabilities. These are all your highlights. AMD Link for those. I haven't actually used AMD Link in a while. Might have to brush that off here. I do plan on actually doing a full driver walkthrough here in the coming week or so. I just wanted to see a release out for the 6000 series at least before I do that. And then you had some increases here, some game optimization. So that was good to see that they've kind of progressed there. My guess is you see in the 6950 XT as well as the 7900 XTX in here. So 23.2. So the 7900 XTX is actually on a different driver. Oh no, never mind. It's the same driver. It's just improvements since that driver. Okay. And I think I read someplace that they're actually working on more improvements here. Maybe that's a known issues. So there is improvements there. It is good to see, especially people that are playing these games. Right, we are without 2 months of drivers and without getting that support. This is one area where NVIDIA will beat up AMD on, and at least they are kind of going through and making it right here. So they did fix some issues, the right air, some Steam stuff. It is good to see some of these airs get fixed, and AMD is working towards that. And there's still some known issues with high power idle, pop-ups with this. It seems like some of these carry on to multiple drivers versions, but at least they are in the known issues. One thing I like to see is that known issues are updated, or things that are known but not fixed stay in known issues rather than kind of just falling off the map, because eventually you want them fixed, right? You want to have somebody looking at that. So product compatibility, 7900 series and 69. So you got pretty good range here. And that is one thing I like too, is that it did pass both of those as well. Support OSs, and then all your footnotes. So there's good signs there, right? AMD's doing this, but let's go through here. AMD did write up a blog on this, specifically with gaming. Their launch drivers, which were October 2021 versus November driver, and then currently today, so this is just November driver. Yep, 2022 11.2. So you can see that there is a performance boost there. And I have not independently verified this because I don't have both drivers and I haven't tested any games, but maybe that's something that I do, or hopefully somebody else does. I know that there's other YouTubers out there that do a wonderful job of kind of going through the drivers, and that would be if they've already done it, go take a look at their videos. Now they are going through with all three releases: the original release for Windows 11, the November release, the last one we got before we got this one. the hiatus of AMD releasing drivers, whatever they were doing. I actually really think they were trying to focus on the 7000 series, and they just totally were trying to get that driver whipped into shape for that card. But you see that you're seeing an increase here over time. It'd be nice to see if you do run a whole bunch of games. I'm sure that you have some variation, but overall, are you all going upwards in each game each time the release happens? This is some of that where AMD had that fine line coming into hand, because it seems like they do increase over time. And Windows launch driver to the latest, you can see just how it's going. There was newly updated stuff here where AMD Link, I will actually have to take a look at this. Looks like they got some more streaming optimizations in there. I actually haven't opened this up in a while, so I know you can play. But these are things where if this is something that you use, features are good. If it's not, it's you're like me, maybe make sure you put a little bit more effort into the driver. So, but it's also a thing that competes with NVIDIA. So if you can do that and still compete with NVIDIA on something and have something a little bit better, that's a good sign, right? And then you have, now this is important if you're streaming or like me, recording, screen recording using OBS, using your computer to record some videos or something. You can now have this AMD encoder, which they have support for the 6000 and 7000 series graphics cards in the latest OBS. So you can see here, if you have a 7000 series card, you have AV1 encoder, H.265, and the H.264 encoder. I have not tested this out yet. I am, I'm going to get this video done. I think I got a couple more to do, and then I'm going to start playing around with it. I don't want to mess anything up right this minute while I'm, trying to get some videos recorded. That would probably not end out too well. Probably spend more time trying to fix issues and get everything tweaked right before I get back to recording. But so AMD, they go through and they're talking about delivering better software, and I think here is intermittent. So there's some simultaneously UI flickering occurred when two videos are simultaneously playing in Chromium-based browsers. There is corruption. Where is this? I thought there was Fortnite issue, Steam issue, poor performance. They're delivering better software here. This delayed failed write in Windows 11 2022 H2. They fixed that, hopefully. So they're trying to say that they're doing good stuff. I do hope that they are focusing on quality, getting better, getting more reliable, and fixing software pitfalls that happen as you develop software. I wish we could say that developers, we create perfect software, but needless to say, that has not happened yet in any industry, right? So they have a modern interface. They keep pushing this. Their interface is nice. I have to say that they do a nice job with that. They have a noise suppression here. So if you kind of like NVIDIA's, they have a noise suppression technique too, and I'm blanking on what it is, but removing a background noise, which is pretty cool. AMD Super Resolution, built-in performance tuning, and no registration required. They're kind of going after NVIDIA on, the no registration required. But the built-in performance tuning is kind of interesting. It works pretty well. I have to say, I've used it, so that's a little bit on this driver. We can kind of see, hopefully, a little bit on what AMD kind of is putting forward here and their direction. Hopefully now we'll see a better cadence on this whole driver package. We will see as AMD releases more GPUs here of the 7000 series if this gets held up, and time will tell on that. I'm hoping that AMD kind of worked through some things, because in the last cycle, hopefully this is a step in the right direction. They understood where some of the mistakes and pitfalls were in that 7900 XTX and 7900 XT release, and where they are in the driver, so that they can hopefully start avoiding that in future releases and not have this 2 month plus of not having a driver out for prior cards that you've released, right? It's not a great look when you buy one of their cards, and then they're not releasing driver updates with new games that that you may be playing, right? Especially if you're playing that new game that's out that has driver optimization from NVIDIA and it doesn't have it on your AMD card. That's something that hopefully AMD can mitigate in the future, because it's a thing that Intel's struggling with too, right? They just put out a huge driver update for their drivers that really improve performance, that something that you want. And let's say Intel all of a sudden just stops that on ARC cards, it's not going to look too good. So with that, I want to say thank you guys for watching. Thank you for helping support Gray Overload, helping this channel grow. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment down below, like the content, subscribe, share it out there. I really do appreciate all of that stuff. And until next time, God bless.